There comes a point in life when something begins to shift deep inside of you. It's not always dramatic. It does not arrive with flashing lights or loud announcements. It often comes quietly. One day you realize that conversations that once excited you no longer hold your attention. The people you once rushed to spend time with no longer seemed as interesting as they were once before. You begin to feel different, and that difference can be difficult to explain. Many people mistake this feeling for depression, arrogance, or emotional distance. They believe something is wrong because they no longer fit into the same spaces that once felt very comfortable. They wonder if they're becoming antisocial or disconnected from humanity itself. But what if the real reason is something entirely different? What if you're not moving away from people, but moving closer to yourself? What if the discomfort you feel is the result of seeing life through a clearer lens? The more you understand yourself, the harder it becomes to ignore things you once overlooked. You begin to notice patterns, motives, contradictions, and hidden truths that were always there but never fully registered in your awareness. This process can feel lonely because growth often changes the way you relate to others. The relationships that once felt strong may begin to feel hollow. The conversations that once seemed meaningful may start to feel repetitive and shallow. You find yourself searching for something deeper, something more real. The truth is that awakening often creates distance before it creates clarity. Before you find your new place in the world, you must first have to outgrow the old one. That process can be very uncomfortable, but it is also one of the strongest signs that transformation is taking place. One of the first things that changes during personal growth is the way you listen to people. In the past, you may have been influenced by what people said. You believed promises, you trusted declarations of loyalty, you accepted statements at face value. But as your awareness grows, something changes. You begin paying more attention to actions and words. You notice that many people say one thing while consistently doing another. They speak about honesty, but practice deception. They speak about loyalty, but disappear when challenges arise. They speak about respect, but behave disrespectfully when emotions take control. This realization can be painful because it forces you to acknowledge that words alone mean very little. Actions reveal character. Consistency reveals truth. Time reveals what people truly value. Once you begin seeing this pattern, you cannot unsee it. You stop being impressed by speeches, explanations, and carefully crafted images. Instead, you watch behavior. You observe what people repeatedly do when nobody is watching. That becomes your measure of truth. As a result, you may find yourself becoming more selective about who you trust. This is not cynicism. It is wisdom earned through observation. It is the understanding that behavior always tells the story that words try to edit. Another difficult part of awakening is realizing that many relationships survive on habit rather than depth. Some people remain connected simply because they have known each other for years. Others stay together because they fear being alone. As your inner self develops, these connections may begin to feel empty. You are no longer satisfied with conversations centered around gossip, drama, or meaningless distractions. You crave authenticity. You crave understanding. You crave substance. This does not mean you think you're better than anybody else. It simply means your needs have changed. Just as a person who grows physically requires different clothing, a person who grows mentally and spiritually often requires different relationships. The problem is that not everyone grows at the same pace. Some people remain comfortable in familiar patterns. Others feel threatened by deeper conversations because those conversations force them to confront uncomfortable truths. When this happens, You may notice yourself spending more time alone, not because you hate people, but because solitude feels more nourishing than superficial interaction. You are no longer seeking company for the sake of company. You are seeking meaningful connection. One of the greatest changes that comes with self-awareness is the loss of idolization. At one point in your life, you may have placed certain people on pedestals. You admire them. You trusted them completely. You believed they possessed qualities that made them extraordinary. Then reality arrived. You begin seeing their flaws, contradictions, insecurities, and weaknesses. You realize they were human just like everyone else. The image you had created could no longer survive. This can feel disappointing at first, but it is actually liberating. When you stop idolizing people, you begin seeing them clearly. You no longer expect perfection. You no longer place unrealistic expectations on others. You learn that everyone carries strengths and weaknesses. Everyone has light and shadow. Everyone has parts of themselves they proudly display and parts they struggle to confront. True maturity begins when you stop searching for perfect people and start appreciating honest people. Authenticity becomes more valuable than appearance. Self-awareness becomes more attractive than image management. Growth does more than change how you see people. It changes how you see reality itself. You begin looking beneath the surface of situations. Instead of focusing solely on what happened, you become interested in why it happened. You look for patterns, motivations, fears, and emotional triggers. This deeper perspective can create a sense of separation because many people are focused on immediate reactions. They want simple answers, quick judgments, and clear villains. You, however, begin seeing complexity where others see certainty. You realize that life is rarely black and white. Human behavior is often driven by wounds, fears, and unconscious habits. The more you understand this, the harder it becomes to participate in shallow arguments and simplistic narratives. As a result, you may feel misunderstood, not because you are smarter than others, but because you're viewing life through a different lens. You're asking different questions and searching for deeper answers. Another major sign of awakening is becoming more aware of your personal boundaries. Many people spend years saying yes when they want to say no. They tolerate disrespect to avoid conflict. They sacrifice their comfort to keep others happy. Eventually, however, something changes. You begin recognizing your value. You realize that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. You become more sensitive to manipulation, emotional pressure, and invasive behavior. Situations you once tolerated now make you uncomfortable. Advice you never asked for feels intrusive. Expectations that once controlled you lose their power. This shift often surprises people around you. They may accuse you of changing. The truth is that you are changing, but that change is healthy. A boundary is not a wall designed to keep people out. A boundary is a line that protects your well-being while allowing healthy relationships to thrive. It teaches others how to treat you and reminds you how to treat yourself. Perhaps the most misunderstood part of personal growth is the need for solitude. There are seasons in life when stepping away becomes necessary. Not forever, not out of bitterness, but long enough to hear your own voice. The world is filled with noise. Opinions, expectations, pressures, and distractions constantly compete for your attention. If you never step away, it becomes difficult to know which thoughts belong to you and which thoughts belong to everyone else. Solitude gives you the opportunity to reconnect with yourself. It allows you to examine your beliefs, heal old wounds, and understand your true desires. During this period, some people may not understand your need for space. They may interpret it as rejection. But your journey is not about rejecting others. It is about discovering who you are beneath the expectations of the world. The strongest relationships are not built by people who fear being alone. They are built by people who have learned to stand comfortably in their own company. If you have found yourself feeling disconnected from people lately, understand something important. You are not necessarily becoming cold. You are not necessarily becoming antisocial. You are not necessarily losing your ability to connect. You may simply be growing. Growth changes your standards. Growth changes your priorities. Growth changes your perception. What once satisfied you may no longer be enough. What once impressed you may no longer matter. The path can feel lonely because fewer people travel it, but loneliness and transformation often walk side by side for a season. The goal is not to separate yourself from humanity. The goal is to find relationships rooted in truth instead of performance. It is to connect from a place of wholeness rather than need. As you continue this journey, remember that every ending creates room for a new beginning. Every illusion that falls creates space for truth. Every shallow connection that fades makes room for a deeper one. You're not moving away from people. You're moving away from what is no longer real. And in that moment, you may finally discover the deepest connection of all, the connection with yourself. And I speak these words from experience, as the growth has been phenomenal. Not that I wasn't grown before, but oh man, I'm telling you, what I see, it's almost like I can see through people. I can see their intentions immediately. And it just makes it a joy to be in peace and solitude and protect that. And it makes me more productive, and it makes life more sweet because you don't have all of this influence and all of this stuff pulling on your brain and the noise that's around you. It's just total tranquility, no matter what's going on around you. And that's the way I've always been. I've had situations where there are crowds around me and cult-like groups around me, and I just never was interested and still never was. And that makes a lot of people angry who have to be followers or who have to control you, because if you don't get controlled by their influence, you're a problem. And I wasn't put here to be controlled by anyone except the guidance of the Creator. Anyway, I hope you got something from that. Much love to you all. Lance Scurv out. On to the next one. Thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you. And as always, peace.